Good evening, everybody. Good morning, depending where you are around the world. Just gotta make some light adjustments to the camera here, and we'll be pretty much good to go. Has everybody been keeping up with what's been going on? It's been pretty wild. What's up? What's up, champ? What's up, creator Roblox? We're just about to get this party started. Hopefully everybody's having a great evening or morning or afternoon, depending where you are across the world. How's everyone feeling? Alright, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started here. Apologize for the camera angle if it's going to look crazy. What's up, Ruggle Boys? Thank you for following, Ruggle Boys. Appreciate it. Just to go ahead and get started, you guys probably heard a lot about the Xbox news. If you haven't, let me know what you guys are thinking about it. But if you guys haven't, I do have to say, it's going to be a bit interesting. I'm going to get into it in just a bit, but let me check out the chat and make sure that everybody's been doing well. What's up, Wasabi? One of our great supporters. We got LSG here and we got Wasabi here. Awesome. I've been keeping up, not as usual. Did you get? Yes, I did get the Xbox Ally. I got a couple videos based on it. You're more than welcome to check back on it. It's actually sitting over there on the dock. I'll actually bring it over because that's also going to be part of this live. I'm sure a lot of you have questions about the Xbox Ally. You can feel free to ask. If you're curious about any certain game compatibilities, feel free to ask. Also, with the current Xbox news, it's quite a bit interesting. At first, we all came to a conclusion that maybe Microsoft isn't going to go ahead and create this Xbox. In fact, that maybe they're going to cancel it after the current Xbox that is out, the Series X, and that they're going to just switch over and let everybody just go into practically PCs. But then we've also heard rumors that Sony is going to release a PS6 that's going to be around the $600 range, and then Microsoft decides to come out with their next generation Xbox. Thank you for following, Reese. Thank you for following. It's a wonderful day to be alive. I don't follow much console news, but I'm pretty much a console virgin, even though I'm pretty much... it's okay, because this is going to get interesting, trust me. Believe me when I say this. What's up, Frank? I already have my DIY Xbox. Awesome. Yeah, that's the most important part, right? If you got a PC, I mean, obviously, you don't got to worry about the whole console thing. But this is definitely going to be aimed at a lot of those console gamers out there, because this is what was interesting. One of the guys from Windows Central has actually talked to one of the Xbox reps, right? And from what it seems like is instead of actually focusing on an Xbox console, because it was going to be rumored that it was going to be a pretty expensive console hybrid practically. And what I mean by hybrid is it was going to be a home entertainment system, which is practically a PC that's customized to where you can actually install Steam, you can have your Xbox, and that they're actually going to even take away the multiplayer charges, which are rumored, and hence doesn't really make sense because they already had their Xbox Gamer Pass, or Game Pass, as you would call it. They've raised the prices on it, so it seems like they're actually going to have a tier to where they're actually going to take it all away. So it sounds like that Xbox is gearing towards more of a home entertainment PC to where you can game on with a custom OS. But then again, we'll see once we get the official news about it. But gotta get. Oh, I know. It's all right. I know you're studying. Hopefully you do well. I do appreciate you, in fact, for coming in. But hopefully everything goes well with your exams. I know you killed it the last time. Got the Series X. Haven't been impressed. Not buying the next gen. I don't blame you, Satire. I could honestly understand. And I like your other stream time because it starts exactly at my lunch break. That's why I like it. Yeah, this is actually one of my unofficial streams. I usually don't stream on Mondays, but hopefully you guys are enjoying it. If you do, let me know. I love to hear from you guys. Also, in the PC world, let's get more into PCs because that's what we all are, right? We're all more of PC guys. We all love building PCs. And what I am certainly looking forward to is AMD's presentation when it comes to CES 2026 coming up. And there is rumors about a 9000G processor that's going to be released. And it's going to be a lot more, how do I say, it's going to be based as their APU, similar to their 8000G and their 7000G, to where it's going to be more budget friendly for anybody who wants to build a PC without a GPU. But of course, the most important aspect when it comes to building a PC is obviously going to be the GPU. And what is really drawing me towards AMD and what I'm really curious about is the fact if RDNA 5 is going to be spoken about during that conference. And if anybody has any specific questions, feel free to ask. I will also be going live at CES 2026. If you haven't been subscribed or followed the channel, make sure you do. And make sure you join the roundtable, which is our memberships. Join LSG, join Wasabi, join all of our guys as part of the roundtable for some exclusive talk at CES and everything that is going to come up. As I'm really excited about this whole RDNA 5 aspect that could be coming out, and hopefully they do come with a more competitive card, which could actually compete with the likes of the RTX 5090, which we all hope for. We need more price competition because, let's face it, everything is mad expensive. So, yes, I love buying a Windows 11 Xbox Edition key. Did you get it? Yes, I did get a haircut. I really needed it. I'm sure you remember from my last, well, it was really 2 streams ago. My hair was just all over the place. It was a mess. But if you guys are curious, let me turn around and get this Xbox Ally here. And it's sitting right here. Yes, it's sitting right here. I know my studio is quite the mess here, but here it is. It's sitting right here. And we got our guest coming in, which is Jonah. He's coming in to say hello to you guys. But yeah, it's a pretty decent console, I gotta say. Are you any of you guys excited for Battlefield 6 Season 1? Amir's been sending me top-notch information. It sounds like it's going to be good. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying Battlefield 6. I got to hear what your guys' thoughts about it so far. Is it to the point where you don't want to go back to Call of Duty? Be honest. I'm just curious. So I feel like Zen 5 was a flop. That's the Xbox Ally X, right? The better one. Yes, that is the Xbox Ally X. You know why? This is going to be some of the reasons why people think it's automatically better. And it's all because they see this Xbox button, right? But really, it's not because of the Xbox button. Specification wise, it's improved because it has a Z2 Extreme processor in there. That's going to be the next generation of the Z1 Extreme, which was the original Ally. Now the original Ally still functions great. I can tell you that. And if anybody out there who has the original Ally, who's played Battlefield 6 on the original Ally, can also tell you that you're easily able to pull about 70 to 80 frames. And that's with a Z1 Extreme chipset. So just imagine if you go to the Z2, you could easily get up to 120 frames with no issues when it comes to the Z2 Xbox Edition Ally, whatever they call it. Such a long title. I don't know why they decided to give it such a crazy title. But the Z2 Extreme has been impressive. It's pretty much nearly on par with the original Xbox, not the Xbox, but the original Ally X. The only difference is that the processor is going to be different, and the battery life is also 80 watt hours compared to the original 40 hours compared to the original one. Also, the grips are much more thicker. I can pull out my other Ally right here. It's also sitting on the dock back there as well. So, let me answer some questions here. So, new gen laptop 50 series on mobile. Yeah, Pro Arts do look interesting. With the 5090 and 5080, the MSI Creator Pros be looking interesting with the Pro 5000M. But the thinness scares me on the battery side. That is a great point. You know what, Rugal? You do make an excellent point. And the thing is, many people were waiting for the new 5000 series laptops to be released, the RTX 5000 series. And the thing is, whether you get the RTX 4000 series or if you choose to get the 5000 series, there's still technically going to be pretty much the same. Sure, the technology is going to be slightly different. You have Blackwell versus Ada Lovelace, which was on the 4000 series chipset. But the difference is when it comes to the GPU, they're still going to end up using the same wattage because there's only so much that you can pull out of a laptop mobily that you're unable to really get the true power out the 5000 series. Unless you are the type to keep your laptop constantly plugged in, because they all are going to have their power limits, unfortunately, even if you get the RTX 5090 inside of a laptop. So just to forewarn you, if you do choose to get a ProArt laptop, whether if you get the 4000 series from the RTX line or the 5000 series RTX line, in short, they're practically going to be the same power-wise. So don't expect like a large difference, but besides some slight differences when it comes to clock speeds. So Epic Gamer asks, what do I do for the living? I work for the government. Yes, that's what I do for a living. No Battlefield here. I am detoxed from online multiplayer games. I don't want to go back. I could understand it, champ. I thought the specs were better, battery processor and such. Yes. So speaking on the Ally X, and I'll explain all the specifications real quick to you guys who are curious about both of the devices. Now you're probably wondering, this is the original Ally right here. So the original Ally actually has, let me turn this on here. Oh, what's up there, D? Put your PC into Arctic Extender. Sure. Yeah, that would be great. Do you know what case I'm actually excited for? And I don't know if you guys followed it or not, but the case is the Corsair 5400 Air. My God, that looks amazing. You see how it has 3 chambers that you can get airflow into the case, including the back of the case. And man, that thing is nice. We went to, on the member stream, we went to Micro Center on, what was it, it was Sunday, I believe. We went to Micro Center Sunday, and unfortunately they did not have the case. They still had the 5500X. They had the 3500X. They had, you know, their usual cases. Unfortunately, the 5400 was not live yet at Micro Center. But this is the Ally. And what this Ally contains is going to be the Z1 Extreme. Now it has up to 8 cores, 16 threads. It can go up to clock speeds of high as up to 5 gigahertz, and it has up to 16 gigabytes of LPDDR5. It also has a 40 watt-hour battery, and the paddles in the back are a bit larger. I apologize for the case because I'm sure that probably kind of makes it not as clear. But if you can see the case, the paddles are much more larger, right? So when you compare it to something like the Xbox Ally X, it's going to be something like this. So if you look in the back, the paddles are a lot less prominent here. So you see that they actually shrank the paddles. So it's, I guess, less invasive, allegedly, for the most part. But it feels a lot nicer physically in your hands. Battery life is definitely a lot longer because thanks to the specs, it's also a Z2 Extreme. Practically same cores. It has 8 cores, 16 threads. It can also go up as high as 5 gigahertz also. But the difference is it's also not only able to have the power, but it also is able to be a bit more energy efficient. So even though you're gaming at a high performance mode, such as like as high as 37 watts compared to the original 30 watts, you can certainly see the difference or experience the difference as it is 24 gigabytes of LPDDR5, and it is also comes with 1 terabyte SSD compared to the original 512. If you follow my channel, you're probably more than familiar that it is that it is modified, the original ROG Ally. The fact that I changed out the sticks with Hall effect sticks, so that way it's much more responsive. I also swapped out the SSD with a 2 terabyte NVMe, as 512 megabytes is nothing nowadays, to be honest. So I'm a bit curious about the Xbox Ally X, and in order to figure out how it's going to be internally, that's the next step, is going to be taking it apart and seeing how easy it is to work on. More than likely, I expect it's going to be easier to work on compared as the other devices. The good thing is ASUS is pretty good at engineering ways in order for it to be easily accessible if you want to be able to upgrade your NVMe, just say. But so hopefully not the federal government. No, it's sort of, I can say that. Put your PC in okay, so that's triple chamber case. That's very recent. Silently released Pro 5000A with 72 gigabytes VRAM. It's interesting how they skipped the 64 gigabyte mark and go to 1620. That is true. I would love to, but I can't. I would love to tell you more about my job. Won't GTA 6 be over 500 gigabytes? I honestly, I wouldn't be too surprised if GTA 6 is over 500 gigabytes. But in fact, that it seems like it's starting to point to signs to where that companies are saying, other game companies are saying that if they do charge $100 for GTA 6, let me know what you guys think of that. If they did charge, say Rockstar Games said, hey, for GTA 6, it's going to be fully featured. It's going to take you months, maybe even years, to really go through every intricate thing inside of this game. If they charge you $100 for the game, would you be willing to accept that, or would you feel like that's a bit much for a game? I would love to hear your thoughts on that, everybody. If that's something that you would still be interested in, if GTA 6 is $100. So regardless if it's on a PS5 or if it's on PC, one thing I do certainly hope, I know all of us do hope, that GTA 6 does come out on PC as the same time as the other titles, because it just sucks to see something like GTA 6 come out, like say on PS5 for the first month, because for some reason that's what they do. Sony likes to buy the exclusive rights for at least a month ahead. Maybe they're going to do it, maybe they're not. The rumor was that they were going to charge Sony like a crazy amount of money just for it to be an exclusive for 1 month, which is like $100 million. And I guess that's like their estimated cost, just in case of like if there is some sort of loss on Rockstar side. But they estimated $100 million to Sony, and it seems like so far they didn't take it. But hopefully it releases on all the systems on time, but I can't imagine what the system requirements will be. It would be pretty insane if they were able to engineer the game well enough to where you don't need such high requirements. So take my money. Even $200. You hear that? What do you think of that? Even $200, people will certainly be able to take GTA 6. The technology is quite amazing when you see it. Like the way the beer is, right? If you notice, like on the trailer, if I pull it up here, is that you'll see the main character, he's carrying like a 6-pack of beer, especially in a place like Florida where it can be humid. So you can see, like, as soon as he hits the air, like once he walks outside walks up the steps to his house, you can see the condensation from the bottles actually start to sweat from the humidity, which is pretty amazing to see. Another factor that you can also see is that over at the strip club in the game, you can actually see all the different fingerprint smears on the pole from, I guess, all the different strippers touching the pole and everything. You can also see that there is a panther that's walking in the Everglades, and when he's walking on the water, that it's not just, he doesn't look completely wet, which is normal because you just see the bottom side where he is stepping in the water. You can see the hair that's damp on the bottom of his stomach, and the upper part of his body is dry. So like little technical advancements like that can certainly make the game very beautiful. And I'm curious to see how far that Rockstar or Take-Two really pushes this game. What's up, my fave tech? What's going on? Do you prefer my fave tech? One of our great supporters here. Enjoy a highly realistic world of advanced entertainment. Okay, Rockstar, $100. No Rockstar. And the funny thing is, you know that their expectations are going to be high. So far, it seems like the release date is still going to be on par. That they say that it's still going to be released of May of 2026. Hopefully they stick with that date, but I don't know how many of you guys saw the different rumors that were flying around online. In fact, that somebody actually posted, and a lot of people were getting upset, they were getting angry, but listen to this release date, and how many people fell for this was that they said that it was going to be released, GTA 6 was going to be released, that it was going to be delayed into February 30th of 2027. February 30th. It sounds like somebody looked it up in AI and that's what it gave it. And gave him or her, and they started posting it everywhere thinking that February 30th of 2027 was going to be the release date for GTA 6. So, but it's going to be, I'm curious about the specifications because that's going to certainly determine how well game studios are going to have to craft engines. And speaking of engines, and obviously enough time has passed, and I'm sure all of us can agree to this. It's also a bit, it's been a bit egregious, this specific engine, and we all know Unreal Engine 5 has not been that great. It seems like it's still terrible, even though that they have all these updates, that it still isn't performing to expectations. It's not helping games at all. In fact, it's taken so much resources that it's not only taking the power from the GPU, but it's also taking power from the CPU as well. So it's not even just a single core process. You're talking about a multi-core process on certain games, such as Borderlands 4. And speaking of Borderlands 4, it seems that they are also going to have a new update patch. I think the patch actually already came out. So if anybody does have Borderlands 4, that this new patch will certainly help them get better frames, up to 20%. And it just shows the lack of respect that they do have when it comes to us gamers, when it comes to purchasing games, such as Borderlands 4, because for that whole month, Borderlands 4 was top of the charts, one of the top games of the charts. But as soon as Battlefield 6 came out, so many people hopped on the Battlefield 6, and the drop-off rate, not only because of Battlefield 6, but because of how unplayable Borderlands 4 really was, that it dropped down to 80%. So they lost 80% of their player base within the first 3 weeks of the launch. So you could already imagine that they lost quite a bit of money because of that. So, finally, I figured out that I'm going with the Ryzen 7 5700G. 170 USD more cores than my current AM4 CPU. Then turned off dozens of things off in Windows 11 and keep finding more things to turn off. Exactly. Yeah, unoptimized, uncompromised, yet stubbornly, absolutely. It's just quite sad. And this guy, right? And we all know exactly who the Borderlands 4, the executive, he said that, well, how come? He practically said, well, you have to own a modern PC. And what is a modern PC in his definition? You owning a RTX 5090, and then you have a modern PC. Like, shame on everybody that doesn't have one. It's a bit ridiculous. And now, as everybody knows, I'm a big supporter of the RX 9070 XT. If you are looking to upgrade a GPU, and you're looking to upgrade, say, from the 30 series, or even the 40 series, depending on which model you have, the RX 9070 XT is definitely quite worth it, especially the value proposition that they give you, and plus that it gives you the performance level that you're looking for a great deal. You're going to spend easily on the low 600s for something to help improve your frame so much, even gaming in 1440. So, Whoa. Yeah, yeah. So the funny thing is, so have you heard as well? And now I don't know if you guys have seen all the different memes that have been popping up because it's kind of funny, I gotta say, for the most part, and that they have Master Chief kind of memeing everywhere, as in like he's like sitting in the background. Let me show you guys. Let me show you guys this because it's pretty funny. Speaking of Borderlands 4, with the current build in my cart, that's like over 1K. Doubt it could even run the game at stable frames and optimizations thrown out in the windows with some games. Absolutely. Borderlands 4, don't get the, if you have anything less than a RTX 5090 or even RTX 5080, don't even think about the game, to be honest. Unless you want to experiment with it. Remember, Steam does reimburse you or give you a refund after 2 hours of having such a horrible experience with Borderlands 4. You can certainly return it, but I highly suggest, if you do plan to get the game, you're going to need to play it comfortably at least a 5080. It's quite a bit crazy, and this is the meme that's been going on, and it's quite funny. And I'm going to share it to my. I actually replied. Let me check my notifications. It's right here, guys. I'm going to switch over to the stream browser side because it's pretty funny. Let's see. Where is it? Where is it? It is right. Oh, I know. Let me go right here, guys. Going into the browser here. Let me see. And switching over. There you go. And I gotta switch you guys over to on the mobile side. Just give me a second, guys, as I find it. There we go. Beautiful. So right here, I think it was on Nick's page here. And Nick reposted this. Where was it? It's pretty funny. They got Master Chief sitting here in the background. And you know, the whole reason why they came out with this meme is because that Halo was announced on PlayStation. You could actually play Halo on PlayStation now, but it's not the multiplayer. They only featured the solo campaign and the co-op. So they do feature both. And now GameStop actually had intervened even, and they said that the end of console wars is here because now everything is officially, there's no exclusives anymore in consoles. So for anybody that does have a console are definitely going to really hate having a console at this point, because it's like at that point you might as well get a PC. So PC Master Race was right the whole time. So my 5080 came with Borderlands. Haven't downloaded. Yeah, download it. I dare you to download it. It's free. And make sure you claim that code, because what happens is if you don't claim that code, I think it's within 3 months, they will revoke it. Just to give you a heads up, Frozen. So the 7900 XTX is better than the newest AMD cards. Yeah, you know what it is? It's because it has a bit of VRAM. Now, it's not going to be a massive jump, but the technology is definitely better, though, when it comes to the 9070 XT, when it comes to FSR, and when it comes to specifically FSR 4, and also when it comes to their FX fidelity, and it has the motion AFMF2 is also featured in the cards too. That can certainly help the games. I know not everybody is a fan of frame generation, but the technology is quite amazing. So if you had to have a purchase point, if you had to choose between the two, the price difference shouldn't be that different from a 7900 XT compared to a 9070 XT. So if you could try the 9070 XT, it might surprise you. So I'm sure you guys had enough looking at Master Chief sitting back there. So Reba Fluff. Greetings from North American homosexuals. Okay, awesome. So gotta love that they refused to the MCC to PlayStation, or even actually introduce cross crossplay with all campaigns. Master Chief Collection is pretty much abandoned. Pretty much for the most part. So does everybody out there, I have to say, is curious if, or I'm curious if you guys are more interested in seeing something like a Halo remake for the original Halo, to Combat Evolved, because it seems like that's the direction that they're headed to. And it seems that they showed some improvements graphics wise, and I'll show you actually. They gave some hints of it, and it looks something like this here. And it doesn't look too bad. It looks like a nice little touch up. You have the whole ray tracing effect here that you can certainly take advantage of if you want to enable it. And you can see that it looks a bit better. Now, some people don't really like the textures that are made in this game. And the reason being is, I'll bring this up to you guys, is if you go up here, some people feel like it's pretty much like a disgrace, because when you compare it to the original, I think it's it's not on this page, but when you compare it to the original, it doesn't give you that same feel, because if you played the original Halo, everybody knows out there that it has that very specific feel to where it just feels like this vast planet that you're just trying to explore, really. But now it's given some sort of different feel, and some people are not happy with it. But and news: rich person cannot grasp the concept of mid-range and average. Very true. That is the problem. With the ROG B850 AMD AM5 boards, the Taichi, is it better to go with 4 sticks of low capacity RAM or 2 sticks of higher capacity RAM? Now, that's a great question. If you are gaming, I usually recommend going dual RAM. So make sure to get the higher capacity, get 32 gigabytes, say, of 2 of them. Like, say you go with like a timing of CL6000 or not CL6000, but like 6000 megahertz, or if you go 64 megahertz, 6400 megahertz, you can also go CL30, CL26. You want to go with the lower numbers, because that will certainly give you better cast latency. So that would be the better way to go. But also, I got to let you guys know, if you haven't paid attention to the pricing of RAM, it's also shot up quite a bit. I mean bad. It's like really bad. And I'm going to show you what I mean, like by how bad the pricing of RAM currently is. Your mouth will literally drop. And gotta love that they refused to bring MCC Massive to PlayStation, or even actually introduce crossplay with all the campaigns. Master Chief Collection is pretty much abandoned. Yeah, pretty much for the most part. It seems that it's like forgotten about. Nobody's it's a shame. I really hope that it does come to its glory, because we all hoped that Halo Infinite was going to be like this big multiplayer game, but it turns out it just wasn't that fun. It didn't really feel like a real Halo game for some reason. It just felt like more of like a battle royale than actually Halo. And Halo Campaign Evolved is a remake of the OG campaign. You can see the stuttering in the gameplay footage, so I don't know if they're going to release it well. Yes, that's right, LSG. It's been crazy. Like, the RAM has been crazy expensive. In fact, let's take a look here, and I will show you guys. And say if you want to buy some RAM, right? Say you want to say, like, oh, I want to get some... You want to upgrade from, say, 32 gigabytes over to, say, 64 gigabytes. Well, you know what? In fact, how about we do this? We're just going to go straight to components and storage. We're going to go to memory. And we're just going to go to desktop memory. And then once we go over here, take a look at this. Just insanity. Take a look at that. Look at that pricing. Now tell me how that makes sense. $183.99, right? $183.99. What was that originally? Remember, just really think back. $103.99 for 6,000 megahertz of RAM. And this is for this has to be CL30. I hope it's CL36. So it's even more insane. For CL36, 32 gigabytes. Go further down, right? For 32 gigabytes of CL36, also $175. New Egg Select. Yeah, I can see why they selected it. How about this one? Team Group. Yeah, 32, 32 gigabytes of RAM of DDR4. That's 3600 megatransfers, average around 130 to 140 USD. That's insane. That is way too expensive for RAM. And this is, and you know, the crazy part is the reason why RAM is going up so much is because that so many people are getting into AI, right? Or so many companies. And so many companies are purchasing so much RAM that it's causing this demand to where RAM is quite expensive. That kit was just 90, and no, it's crazy, right? Just $90 just a week. In fact, I could pull up a Micro Center receipt, and in fact, it was like actually like if you go to my live like all the way back in February when we went to Micro Center to do that 9070 XT build, that 9070 XT build when we bought the RAM, it was on sale, and again, it wasn't much. It was only, I think it was only $90, just like exactly what LSG said. It's insane. It just doesn't make sense. And then take a look at, and it just gets more expensive. Even RAM that doesn't have RGBs. G-Skill's Flare X5 series. Now this is going to, it's CL36 still, right? CL36, same exact latency as the Corsair one we saw up here, but the pricing on it is still insane. It's still $189. How's that make sense? And AI data centers are taking our joy away. Probably, yeah, they really are, because it's just insane that they can really mark up the pricing like this. And the fact that it's funny, we can't get a break anywhere, all right? And what I mean by can't really get a break is the fact that you really think about it, you want to get a new GPU, right? You want to get a new, say, you want to get the RX 9060 XT, or you want to get the RTX 5070 Ti. You want to get a GPU. You can get a GPU now for a great deal. After we're in October now, right? It took quite a bit, and now we're finally hitting MSRP prices. You can actually purchase a decent 5070 Ti for a great price. It's not that expensive now. You can actually purchase it for probably about like $700, about between $750 for a 5070 Ti. You could get a 9060 XT for probably about like $350, about like $350, $400. And when you compare that pricing, that now that because the GPUs are cheaper, we have this to deal with, that you can't get RAM for cheaper. It seems like it has to compensate somewhere else. So as soon as you get a deal on something, even as great as a GPU, that you're going to have to pay more somewhere else. And that's unfortunately going to be the RAM. And what I'm afraid of what's going to happen next is that we're going to see the prices of SSDs start to go up eventually as well, because they're not going to be too far apart from each other. Thank God most AMD GPUs aren't the biggest targets for AI usage for now. Absolutely. At least that's not the case. Let's just keep hoping for the best, and that they're not going to be aimed, that AI data centers are not interested in AMD GPUs currently. But I can say the funny thing is they're with ROG. They're actually coming out with they what was it? They came out with something. It's pretty funny, in fact. And they said it on Twitter, and I said something to them. And in my case, I just said, I hope that this... Oh, they had a BIOS update. That's what it was. ROG had a BIOS update specifically for, I think, the Intel CPUs. And I just had to say, because, you know, just thought this would be funny, saying that hopefully it doesn't burn up their CPU this time, such as the 9800 X3Ds when it came to their Tai Chi boards. So I don't know how they took it. They never responded to that. So I'm pretty sure they weren't happy with that tweet. So SSDs are already going up. I'm not surprised. It's quite insane. I know my GPU, the 6600 XT, was weirdly used a lot for crypto mining. Got no clue since it's only a 8 gigabyte card. You know what it is? It's desperation. because I remember, I don't know if you guys remember, but like when that whole thing happened, especially I think between 2020 2021. Um, Thank you for subscribing, Kieran. I appreciate it. I have to say, like between those years, between 2020 and 2021, it seemed that they were desperate enough to gather a whole lot of GPUs, regardless of how much VRAM usage it really has. They would just collect all of them, as long because what they were really looking for was trying to mine. I'm thinking Erythium, but it's Erythium, something like that. But they were trying to mine that originally, and they didn't care what kind of GPUs that they had. So they were able to gather as much of whatever GPUs that they could find, daisy chain them to kind of mine, and then they figured, oh, this isn't really turning out well. And then a lot of those GPUs ended up in the used market. And then when people ended up getting those GPUs, that they didn't perform as well. That people were getting ripped off for buying a GPU that was obviously used for mining. So that's why like a lot of listings that you currently see for used GPUs, especially like in Newegg, where if you get it from Best Buy or Micro Center, they'll tell you specifically that this wasn't used for mining, or that this was, or this doesn't have any proof that this was mining. So I know, but yeah. Speaking of which, let me go here. Yeah, so Microsoft decided to finally send over Master Chief over to Sony. So it seems like exclusivity is actually going to be over. But the funny thing is, I'm not sure exactly how Sony's going to take it, because the funny thing is, Sony seems that they want to put a block in. Say if Xbox does really come out with another console, that they don't want Steam games to be able to play. Like certain Steam games, PlayStation titles, such as God of War or such as Uncharted, they don't want any of those titles on their new system. But then again, it's going to be a hybrid PC, so I'm curious to see how that's going to work, because if they do come out with this like hybrid PC type of console, then there's no way they could really block it. Then they would have to block it completely on all PCs as well then at that point. So man, I had hundreds of 1060s, 1050s, 2060 mining Bitcoin. Yeah, that's the funny thing. Like so many people were into trying to mine, trying to what was it? Getting so many of those so many GPUs, so that way they can just daisy chain and try to get the most that they can get out of it. But the problem was that mining was getting harder and harder to mine a specific Erythium, or your what's the word? Ethereum. That's what I meant to say. Your Ethereum. So literally every overclock configuration I searched up on YouTube was bit mining configurations. Only like 2 of them were for gaming in general. Yeah, because it was such a big thing. It was like I guess everybody wanted to find a way to make some sort of income without actually working. But the requirements in order to continue to mine are quite demanding, because you imagine how much power usage that you would use. And there were a lot of places, especially in China, that I think it was somewhere in northern China, that there was a place that they were constantly mining, that they were actually affecting the power in that specific city in China. And they're trying to figure out what was going on, and it was all because of crypto mining. And I have Thermaltake VT20 Compact, a computer case that is in need of use. It's never been built on, but it takes micro, I'm assuming ITX, is it? A micro ITX motherboard. In your opinion, what's the best AMD micro ATX board? Okay, so if you want a micro ATX board, there is one that I do certainly like. Okay, micro ATX. What does mining do to cards? Well, what happens is it wears them out, because you're going to constantly use the power out of them. What it's doing is searching for so many specific patterns when it's looking for when you're mining. So hence that's why it's called mining, because it's looking for the certain pattern to be able to draw one, say, your Ethereum, but it would take it in pieces. Eventually, you would have enough pieces to create one whole your Ethereum, and then you can actually have one to your wallet. But the problem was that it would take so many resources and so much time from the GPU, because it would run constantly at 100% for 24 hours a day, that it would wear down the card. That was the issue with mining. So, are used in the 3090s for 940? That sounds like a terrible deal. It sounds like a bad time if you certainly go for any of this. I got to tell you, like, the 30 series would be the most suspect series. If you're going to buy a used GPU, I would say the 30 series is definitely the most suspect. Anything from 30 series and under would be suspect to mining use, for obvious reasons, because it was just the highlight of that time. Once the 40 series came out, it seemed like it calmed down quite a bit. But yeah, speaking of Micro ATX, the board. So I want to show you the board. I feel that's definitely going to be great for you. You're going to like it. It is called the Asus. What is it? The Asus what's it? The AIY? Something AIY, I think it is. Your way. Well, let me see. I'll find it and I'll send it over to you. AYW, that's what it is. The AYW, this is the one. This is just one of them. This is the B650 version. I'll show you. Let me get onto the browser side here. So it looks something like this. This is the B650 version. They also have a B850 version. But I would say this is definitely a board I would highly recommend. Reason why I would say get the B850, just in case if you want to go to the if you are looking to go to the Ryzen 10,000 series, B650 is still kind of sketchy when it comes to their BIOS chip. For everybody out there who is curious about upgrading to a new the AMD Ryzen 10,000 series, the latest rumors are that you have to have at least 32 megabytes in your BIOS in order for you to upgrade to that CPU. But then again, it could be all rumors. We don't know if it's 100% factual or not. But as long as if you have up to 32 megabytes in your BIOS, you'll be able to upgrade to the newest AMD Ryzen 10,000 series if you're looking to upgrade in the near future. But of course, that Ryzen 10,000 series, we probably won't see it until like the same time next year, in fact, because they're going to be very focused more on the 9000G. And I think also that's another topic I got to bring up to you guys too. There's supposed to be like a second, like almost like a refresh when it comes to the 9800X3D and also with the 9950X3D, which I'll explain in a bit. So I bought my 4060 for last year for $315. That's how is it? I gotta ask how it's performing. Is the 5700G and a 4060? Yes, they would be a good pair with each other. If you go 4060 and 5700G, yes, they would work well. And at that point, you would be pretty much really pushing your 5700G as it is. It's the AYM, what is it? B850M. Let me see if they got it here. Yes, they do. This is the board I would recommend. Is this one. Why is it showing that page? Oh, okay. So it would look something like this. Now it keeps jumping. I apologize for that. Trying to bring it up, but the page just doesn't want to load right. There we go. Now that's it. The B850YM. This is definitely a board you can get that's more up to date, and it's really not an expensive board, which is nice. Also, I'm not sure what I could upgrade my motherboard on AM4 since it's an Asus tough B550. I got it pretty solid. So if it's a B550, you can go all the way up to, you could put like a 5800X if you wanted to, or even the X3D. It'll work well on that board. It's pretty good for Ultra 1080p. Yes. I was playing Outer Worlds 2 earlier and was getting, how is Outer Worlds 2, I have to say? I've heard a lot of great things about it. I'm just curious of how's everyone's experience currently with it. I gotta know because it's one of those games I'm interested in. And one of the games I really do specifically enjoy, and I'm a big fan of the series, is Ninja Gaiden. Ninja Gaiden 4. Man, I was hyped up for that release. So the B850M, what it features, let's go into tech specs so I can explain everything to you, why it's such a great board here. It's okay so far. Okay. Is it worth getting in your opinion? Is it worth the purchase? So this has so it features up to 2 slots. Usually smaller boards like micro ATX boards, they're going to have usually 2 slots. So if you get the two two sticks of RAM, you're going to want to get at least 32 gigabytes each. It seems that the minimum threshold now is 32 gigabytes. You want to have at least 64. That's going to be the latest I can certainly push, but they also have 48 gigabytes as well. So if you can find a 48 gigabyte pack cheaper, you can go 48 gigabytes. They also have 64 gigabytes, but those two are certainly more of the sweet spot than 32 gigabytes because, especially for demanding titles, thanks to Unreal Engine 5. But anyway, besides the memory side, it does have expansion slots here for PCI Express 5, most importantly. So if you do want to put like the best GPU in there, you certainly can. It doesn't matter which GPU you put in. Now, this does support even the 8000 series, obviously the 9000 series. It's also going to support future upgrades as well. It does have M.2, where it does support PCI Express 5 most importantly, so you can take advantage of, like, say, a Samsung 9100 drive if you want to, or you want to go get or you can get the Western Digital version of the PCI Express 5 as well. You can take advantage of it on this board. Also, it does have 2.5 gigabit connection on internet. It should have Wi-Fi 7. I don't know why it says Wi-Fi 6 on this one. It should be Wi-Fi 7. It also has... So talking of motherboards, I have the 870E Carbon. I love that pick, I gotta say. I certainly love the 870E. I have found one for the extreme discount. Thought the naked plateless back really bothered me, even though it's a nice board. I get that because we got so accustomed to those custom back, the metal shielding in the back now. It's so weird to see boards like that. But the MSI Carbon, that's a solid motherboard though. It will honestly be one of the better motherboards out the bunch. And it has a lot of awesome features. The PCI Express 5 works excellent in those motherboards, and it's also super reliable. It's great when it comes to overclocking, but yeah, you picked a good board for sure. I upgraded from the 1070 to the Ryzen 1600. Oh, wow. So what's up, MVG? MSI is the best. Yeah, MVG certainly loves MSI. What would you pick for a 34-inch 4K curved monitor with super thin bezels? What to join to for flight simulator? So I would say, like, if you were to pick a 4K OLED, I'm assuming you want to go OLED. OLED would certainly be best for something like this. And if you want to go 4K, let me see, 34-inch 4K, that's going to be a bit difficult. Let me see. Because most of the monitors that I do know, I can certainly recommend, are either going to be between 32 inches, which is usually the 4K mark, because once it hits 34 inch, a lot of them are going to be ultra wide, and the ultra wide monitors, they're going to be about 1440. Or I know that there's some monitors out there that are also about like 40 inches, if that's okay, but I know it's a bit massive compared to 34 inches that are 40 inches 4K OLED. And usually the OLED panels are going to be the most thinnest. They certainly are. Let me flip this one so I could show you. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm flipping this. You can see how thin it is. It's very thin and light. But this one's 1440. The one that I have in my hand specifically is the PG34 WCDM by Asus. It's also in my description box and YouTube if you want to look at that one. It's a great monitor, but if you're looking for something that's more 4K, they also do have the PG32 WCDM, and they also have the newer ones where they're glossy displays, which would give better lighting during flight simulators. So that would end up being so much money. Yeah, it's gonna be expensive. Let's take a look at it. But yeah, it's going to look something like this. They have the 32-inch ones, right? OLED. Now I can say I know Asus's is the PG34, not 34. My fault. The 32, and it's gonna look something more like this. This is a good one. It's a great one. It's the glossy display. They have the newer ones are glossy, not this specific model. It's the UCD. Yeah, this one. This is the glossy one. So this one's the glossy display up to 240 hertz, 4K, and if you get two of them, that will certainly exceed your expectations. The OLED is just magnificent, I gotta say, and the clarity is just amazing when it comes to it. Now, this is one of the choices here. Now, the second choice that you do also have is LG also has their own version. LG's 3032 OLED 4K. Can't remember the exact model number, but it's this one here. 32GS95, that's it. So it's going to be this one here, but again, this is really pricey, this one. This one's going to cost like... What specs are in the TE Tesla Tiny Home? I gotta see. I would have to look at it to tell you. 32 inches, again, ultra fast, because this can go up to 480 hertz. So this has incredible speeds. Hopefully you do have a monitor a GPU that's capable of it. Now it's 240 hertz specifically when it comes to 4K. So when you're using 4K, it'll be 240 hertz. But if you choose to go downscale and you choose to go to 1080p, then it will go to 480 hertz for competitive play if you want to play games such as first-person shooters. So you could choose to go that direction too as well. So that's the LG OLED display here. Again, this one's also another choice. Now, this is becoming a lot more common to where you're going to have a dual refresh rates. So anytime you see dual refresh rates like this, it's going to be switching between either 4K or 1080p, and depends, again, how competitive you are. Now, personally to me, like if I had to pick between the two, I feel like Asus is certainly the better choice when it comes to it. You're going to spend less money on the monitor, and their quality when it comes to their OLED monitors, when it comes to Asus's, they also have heat sinks on the back of the panel, so it also prevents, if you're also concerned about, not the pixels, but burn-in. If you're concerned about burn-in, the heat sinks certainly do help prevent that. And it also does, and Asus does warranty the white and black dots, and that's something that's also prevalent in a lot of panels if you choose to go OLED. So those are definitely some of the options out there when it comes to panels. But I would say those are certainly some of the better ones I could certainly say. Now, again, if you don't mind going full 40 inches, that there is some panels out there that are 4K displays. But as of now, 34-inch, they don't have 4K. If they do push a 34-inch one, it's more than likely going to be like those, more like of a 5K type of monitor. But, yeah, so when it comes to... But we also have, again, exciting to know that Battlefield Season 1 is coming for everybody. You don't have to have it purchased. As long as if you own the game, you'll get Battlefield 6 Season 1. So that'll be dope. And get this. This is something that I certainly have to share with you guys, which is pretty funny. So 32 would work too. Okay, perfect. Also, I'm not sure if I should continue with 1080p with a high refresh rate when I get my 9060 XT, or 1440p, which is at a decent refresh rate. I'm used to 1080p already. Now, the more standard refresh rate you're going to see a lot now is 240 seems like the sweet spot. Like many of the panels that you'll see are around like 240, regardless if you go 1080 or if, well, 1080 is even higher. Usually you could even see like, what is it, 360, I think, is like the typical now for 1080. It's quite insane. But try 1440. It's quite the difference. If you game on 1440, you'll notice it. You'll notice how much clearer it looks, but you won't notice how unclear 1080 looks until once you revert back to 1080. So Epic Gamer says MSI is so underrated. I agree. MSI is awesome when it comes to their products. I feel that they certainly need to push the marketing more when it comes to that side. Recently, that it's funny because this is the next thing I'm about to show you is something that's MSI here. With this build, I'm going to be able to deduct 50% of it due to using it for a workstation for my business. But buy once, cry once. Absolutely. Take advantage of it. Definitely take advantage of your business. And again, that's going to be something you're going to be using for your business anyway. So, and the clarity is just unfounded. It's just amazing. Like once you look into that OLED display, the colors will certainly, not just like the resolution, not just the 4K side, but just the colors will just wow you, I have to say. Now, I got my PC hooked up to a 4K 144 hertz TV. Excited to upgrade it when gaming TVs come down in price. You know what's funny? Like a lot of those gaming TVs, remember when 120 was like the gaming TV that would be the one that you want to get? And most importantly, you would have to have low input lag. And it seems that now, I know Takuma, he has one. He has a LG TV, which is, if you're unfamiliar with who Takuma is, he's one of our members here. And also, I forgot to mention this to you guys. If you guys are just joining in, don't forget to hit subscribe or don't forget to follow this channel. If you're on YouTube or Twitch or on X, make sure you join in. And because reason being is we'll be live at TS 2026. You have more questions, you can feel free to join the free Discord down in the description box down below. If you are on another channel, if you are on Twitch, just open up another browser, go to chrismizo.com and just click that Discord icon on the webpage, and that'll take you over to the server where, once again, it's free to join. You can feel free to ask questions. You can feel free to post pictures. You can also feel free to show gameplay, and we even have a server to where you can talk in. So, going back, I got my PC hooked up to 4K 144 hertz TV. Excited to upgrade when better gaming TVs. I absolutely agree with that because again, 144 hertz seemed like that was like the fastest you can get it. But it's just amazing. You can get like 180 hertz now. It's insane just to see that like in a TV now. It's because it's almost like nobody uses their TV anymore for really cinematic purposes. People still use it for watching movies and everything, but people care more about the refresh rate. So if I go get a 1440, I might go with 144 hertz or 120 hertz monitor, since I know the higher refresh rate ones are more expensive. To let you know, AC, 144 hertz is definitely not going to be as expensive as it once was before. You could certainly get a good price on it now. That's the good thing. But there's going to be TVs out there that exceed 144 now, which is pretty insane. So, thoughts on the 4070 Super? It's a great GPU. If you get your hands on a 4070 Super, you can certainly take advantage of it, I would say. It's definitely better if you go for a 4070 Super over, say, the 5070. Now the 5070 Ti, it's a bit competitive, but the 4070 is good enough to compete against it. Now, with the 4070, it's not going to have the newer advanced frame generation. If you care for that, if you care for frame generation, then you would have to get like something like the 4090 is like the minimum card currently that has frame generation. They're the only ones that have that technology besides the newer 50 series cards. But if you don't care for frame generation, you prefer more of the power from the card. Again, it's still a very strong card. Ada Lovelace is still a generation that has been quite impressive. In fact, even if you compare the RTX 4090 to the new RTX 5090, it's the RTX 5090 is practically like an over-glorified version of the Ada Lovelace, just with more watts. So I would say that you would be quite pleased with the RTX 4070 Super. So LG is 165 hertz. That's insane. It makes me want to upgrade my display even, because my display, I think it's only 120 hertz, but my OLED is the original one. It's the LG C1. I still love it. Works great. I have no problems with it. I'm not in really desperate need of upgrading the display, but hearing 165 hertz, hearing these larger refresh rates are quite tempting, especially if you want to be able to game on Steam as on your personal display. You want to game on a large display, you could easily do it. Especially now, you can just download Steam and be able to play it, or have something like the ASUS ROG Ally, right? And you can just easily connect to the TV that way. And when it draws power from the Ally, it's going to draw power from your PC in order for you to display it. So, yeah, a lot of TVs are 165 hertz or more now. I'm waiting for the price to come down. Not paying too. I hear you, satire. I do hear you. That's funny though. I get you, because I feel the same way. Like, I have no reason to upgrade. Thinking about upgrading the GeForce 3 Ti 200. And Satire Gaming also says, in a few years, the 240 hertz TVs will come down in price. Then I'll upgrade. That's true. The good thing is OLED has come a long way, especially in its generation. We're in about the 5th generation of OLED now, so it's only going to improve. And the heat dissipation is also getting much better, and there's ways to prevent it currently. The biggest problem when it comes to a lot of displays currently, especially when it comes to something like OLED displays, is the heat. The heat buildup is the biggest enemy of it, and as long as if they continue to build better like vapor chambers and heat sinks for these displays, and also they have other preventative measures such as like pixel remapping or pixel cleaning or sensor cleaning or whichever the company likes to call it. They also have that run every once in a while. Same thing with adaptive displays. If they know that you're not watching the TV, it will automatically dim down compared to what they used to do before, which the big issue was like a lot of OLED TVs. I'm sure you guys have seen this before. On a lot of them, they'll have a screensaver that's like a picture, and they'll leave it up for hours. And the problem is, if that heat builds up, that picture is gonna stay even if you turn off the TV. So, LG, the 77-inch LG G5 and the 5090, not as hot as I thought it was going to be. Not even close. Yeah, it's a bit insane. You know, I thought the G5 was going to be like a hot commodity. But it seems that it was a lot of people were able to purchase it a lot more easier than everybody anticipated. So it seems like the display, that larger displays aren't like the big thing right now. It seems like the bigger thing is people prefer like the smaller displays, like the 32-inch 4K OLEDs, just because you can get up more close and personal. And I guess it's because, as we all know as PC gamers, especially who like to game on keyboard and mouse, especially like when it comes to first-person shooters or action and adventure, you're facing a display like practically right in front of you compared to sitting back and looking at the display, which is also distance is going to be the factor, so you're obviously going to need a much larger display. But when you're sitting, you're not going to need a 77-inch display right in your face when you're opening up your spreadsheet or something. So, oh, it's hot. Just like, oh, okay. Just not hot. Yeah. Oh, really? Oh, you mean temperature-wise? I apologize, Slim. I apologize for that, Slim. Temperature-wise, what was it? And speaking of which, I do want to mention, like, if you guys are curious about the temperatures on these devices, when it came to the ASUS ROG Ally here, I gotta say, this certainly does get pretty hot too. Just to add in addition here, speaking of temperatures, it can get up to 46 degrees Celsius, so it gets pretty hot. So physically, it gets to 46 degrees Celsius, not the APU. The APU technically goes a bit higher. It goes like between the 75, 80 range. I've seen it go as high as 90 at times with the Z1 Extreme. Now, when it comes to the Xbox Ally X, it seems that the temperatures are a lot better. This only got as hot as about like 34 degrees Celsius up on the top, so it doesn't get nearly as hot. And the SD placement is a lot better compared to the original one, because the SD placement seems to be a bit further apart. So if you guys are worried about the whole SD card getting burned up, it seems that more than likely that's not the case. And also, it seems that the heat only gets up to, again, 34 degrees Celsius, so it stays a lot cooler, and you're able to play a lot more comfortably. So, but yeah, that's about the whole Xbox Ally side. But yeah, like, again, if anybody has any questions about the device, if anybody's just coming in for that reason, if you're coming in for the Xbox Ally X, feel free to ask questions about it. You can. If you guys are just coming into the chat, because right now we're just talking about displays, if you are also just coming in and talking about the heat dissipation currently, like when it comes from the 5090 and the LG C5, and temperatures wise. So, which console controller works best with PC? Low latency. I gotta say, honestly, the best controller when it comes to latency, it would have to honestly be the Microsoft Xbox controller. Now, I've tested many controllers. I don't know if you see them right back there or not, but I can pull them up. Honestly, the Microsoft Xbox controller is certainly the better one. And if you were to compare, say, like the DualSense controller and the DualShock 4 controller, just say, testing between those, it seems that the DualSense controller is definitely a lot quicker than the DualShock 4 controller. So if you choose to, if you're more of a PlayStation controller guy, DualSense does work well with PC. The Xbox controller is definitely much more reliable because it will be able to pick up the drivers nearly immediately. And again, input-wise, it seems almost responsive, but it's like if you compare something like to the mouse or keyboard, it's not going to be just as fast. But there are controllers out there where they can have like a specialized controller where they have a higher input. I know, which company is it? I think Scuff is decent, but then again, it's not going to be as premium as you think it is when it comes to it. After testing the Vision Pro, and that's the one I personally use all the time, is the Vision Pro. I definitely want to test more out there, and if I see one that has a better input, I'll definitely let you know. But when it comes to controllers, I would say, and I'll show you which controller it is. This controller seems to definitely work best, and I've also tried it with what is it? The DualSense Edge. I also have the Envision Pro. I also tried, what else? I tried this one here. I forget the name. Phantom. I also tried Phantom too, another specialty controller. And Phantom's pretty decent. Apologize if this one looks a bit dusty, but Phantom's not a bad choice either. But out of all of them, honestly, the Xbox controller does really hold up well. And I don't know if you guys heard it or not. But the Xbox, Microsoft Xbox, apparently there's a patent out. And this patent, let's take out the Xbox controller again. This patent is going to be a bit interesting. They put a patent on the Xbox controller, specifically their new Elites. That's something that a lot of people have been waiting for, because currently they have the Elite 2. And the last time they had the Elite 2, I think it was I would like to say 2019, I think it was, or 2020. It was about then. And since then, people have been waiting for a third reiteration for it, like a third version of it. And apparently it seems that Microsoft has put out patents for it, but with the patents, that they would actually have a display on the controller. So they would have a display similar to where kind of like what the DualSense has. The closest thing I got DualSense here was this Phantom controller. But kind of like something like this. and on the display it would actually have like your different settings and everything like that for your controller. Maybe you could set different dead zones, which would be interesting. But I would certainly say if they do go ahead and go for the third version, I would love to personally see it and see how well it reacts when it comes to input lag. But that's the biggest thing. Like when it comes to controllers, you want to make sure that you have the latest drivers when it comes to Bluetooth, and also you want to make sure that you do get more of the latest controllers, because then it gives you a better chance of lower latency when gaming as well. So let me show this to you guys real quick, which is pretty funny here. And I put it into the Discord, so if you guys have seen it or not here, I'm going to go to the browser side, and it's going to be this, the MSI 5050 Inspire. That's an interesting looking GPU, right? And so it has dual slot coolers, and the specification wise, it's going to be it's going to have a 2.6 practically a 2.6 gigahertz. Both cards ship with 8 gigabytes of G6, so it's practically like a RTX 40 series, except that this card uses Gen 5 compared to Gen 4. So it's more of a compact design. Now, I can say this would be good if you're going to put this in a RAID system. I would not put this in a system to where you plan on gaming. Do not try to game on a card like this. Can you imagine going over to your friend's house? And he's like, yeah, I finally bought a new GPU, and they showed you this. Can you imagine that? They just whip this out, and they say, yeah, I just got a brand new GPU. I got the new MSI RTX 5050 Inspire. Take a look at this. That's not going to turn out too well. So I wouldn't recommend this for gaming purposes. I'm pretty sure this is more for those who are looking to for more of the creator side. If you want a separate GPU just to focus on that side, that would make sense. But this is also great for anybody that is working on like smaller builds. This would certainly fit a lot more comfortably then. Let's go to the comments real quick, just out of curiosity, just to see what they gotta say something. I was really excited to see this card come out. Unfortunately, this card exceeds 2 slot sizes. I wish they would have accomplished that as well as being short as it is. RTX 5050 should limit to 75 watts, not requiring power. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. It does require a power connector, doesn't it? Usually, smaller cards like this won't require it because they don't need it, but it does. Take a look at that. And it does require a PCI Express connection to this card. So, if you are looking for something like this, there you go, 5050. But yeah, on the interesting side note though, Intel is also going to be releasing their new refreshes as well. They're supposed to come out with a new refresh of Arrow Lake. It's just unsure when. In fact, I got this Z890 board that's sitting back there that's been dying to be put inside of a build, but unfortunately I just haven't done it yet because I'm anticipating this new CPU. But if this takes longer than anticipated, I'm curious how Intel will bring out the 18A processors. Hopefully their 18A processors will be much more of an improvement. I hear that they're already working on 14A, and that I hear that this processor is going to be quite something, that it's going to be quite the competitor when it does release. I'm just curious on how it's going to be for the desktop version. If you guys don't know, Intel had revealed it within, I think it was the last week. Maybe 2 weeks ago. They revealed it 2 weeks ago, and that it's currently going to be for more of laptop devices and smaller devices like tablets, because it's still technically like in the testing phase. Because once it gets to the desktop side, it's going to be more of a hybrid processor. So if you do plan to do like some sort of Intel build and you're waiting for that processor, it might be worth the wait. Only bad thing is you can't build on something like the Z890, that you're going to need a new motherboard for that. Oh, thanks for following, Invaders Kiff. But also, let me see here. Yeah, so when it comes to the Intel processor, it's not going to be on the traditional Z890, which requires the LGA 1856 at where it's currently at. Is it 1856? I think it is. 1856? Maybe. But anyway, or is it 1851? It's one of those weird odd numbers. But anyway, the newer socket that it's supposed to upgrade to, when it comes to the Z990, it's going to be a completely different socket. So for those who have the Z890, I feel bad for everybody out there who went with that build. Not necessarily for those who are looking to hold their build for a long term, but for more of those who are enthusiasts who like to upgrade their CPU every couple of years. Because unfortunately, the highest CPU that you can upgrade to with the Z890s is going to be the Arrow Lake refresh, unfortunately. And the Arrow Lake refresh doesn't seem too bad. I'm just there has been some like leaked numbers, but it's not 100% if it's true. And the leaked numbers are Geekbench, and those aren't the greatest benchmarks to go off of anyway. So to get really good numbers is going to be something through Cinebench or something more concrete. If we do, then we could see if there's going to be a real difference, because unfortunately for the Z890, when it comes to the processor sides, when it comes to the Intel Arrow Lake, it seems that they went more energy efficient, which isn't bad. We do need more efficiency when it comes to PC gaming. We don't want to live next to a power plant. We want to be able to be more efficient at the same time. But they became too efficient to where it seemed that it just didn't have quite the oomph that everybody was looking for. It was quite the turnover from the 13th and the 14th gen from Intel, which was the big debacle about over voltages on their processors, which is certainly still the case. So if you have a 13th or 14th gen processor, I beg of you, make sure to update your BIOS. You don't want to end up burning out your processor. So also, when it comes to the newer gen, when it comes to 18A, it's a possibility that we're going to see an introduction to new RAM. And I'm just curious if that's a possibility. When it comes to like DDR6, just say, that could happen. Now, when we see PCI Express 6, more than likely that's not going to be the case. They spoke about this before, and that PCI Express 6 won't happen until the next few years, unfortunately. I think they said up to 2030. I think that's what they're aiming for. And same thing with AMD. AMD has their map plan for a long time, their roadmap. Because you have their newer processor, which is something I meant to talk to you guys about. There's a rumor that they're going to refresh their 9800 X3D, so it's still going to be the same 8-core 16-thread monster, but the difference is that this monster is going to also have a different clock speed. Oh, thanks for subscribing. Also, it's going to have a different clock speed. It's going to be a bit better. Not a lot. It's like about like 400 or 500 megahertz more of a clock speed. And the CCD will also be added to the processor as well. So instead of the standard, what was it? 100 and what is it? I know it's 92, 80, what was it? 92? I can't think of the number right off the top of my head, but it's going to double the L3 cache. And I remember that if you double the L3 cache, it would equal to about 192 megabytes, which is pretty insane. So if that's the case, it would certainly help for gaming practicality. And also when it comes with the 90, I keep doing that, the 9950 X3D, when it comes out with the reiteration for that version, which they're just going to call it like version 2 or X3D2 maybe, they're also going to double the CCD on that as well. And if that's the case, that's something that's going to be more expected of early 2026. But that is what's going off the rumors so far, and that the Ryzen 10,000 series won't actually release until Q3 of 2026. But I can say on the processor side, that is what I see that is coming into fruition. Now GPU side, if you guys are patiently waiting for the RTX 50 series. Not the 50 series, it's already out, but the Super series. More than likely, we're not going to hear anything at CES, unfortunately. And for everybody who's just joining into the channel, if you have any questions at CES 2026, you can feel free to ask. I will actually keep a panel of everything. If you want to see any specific products, you can mention it. The only products that aren't usually at CES 2026 is Corsair, but every other manufacturer is usually there. From you can ask AMD, obviously Nvidia, Intel, ASUS, MSI, they're all there usually. The only ones I usually don't see are Corsair. But feel free to ask questions. I'll keep like a notepad and I can specifically look for it. And we will be also going live at CES 2026 when that date does happen. Mark it down in your calendars. It's going to be the start of January 5th of 2026. That is when CES 2026 will officially start. But also, what we can expect is that the Super, unfortunately, more than likely won't come out during CES 2026. That it seems that it's going to be more slated for GTC Summit, which is NVIDIA's event. NVIDIA's event will certainly release it between probably about March. And if it's not during the GTC Summit, then they'll push it further back to Computex 2026, which is of May 2026. And when it comes to AMD, that is something we're all hoping for. We're hoping AMD becomes much more of a competitor. There's a lot of rumors of RDNA 5, and that is also partially because of the whole new 9000G processors that are also rumored to also be released. And when they do, there's supposed to be mention of RDNA 5, and hopefully there's a lot of hope currently that there's going to be a competitor for the RTX 5090, which hopefully AMD, hopefully you're listening. RX 9090 would be really nice, or RX 90 XT would be super nice, because that's something that everybody is waiting for. We're looking for a serious contender, and that it would certainly help the whole pricing side when it comes to the GPU market. At least there would be more competition. I know Intel's trying, but Intel isn't really focused as much on the GPU side. They seem to be really more stoked on the whole CPU side of things. But I can certainly say it's going to be exciting when it comes down to it. And hopefully you guys are as excited. You guys can feel free to ask any questions if you like about any type of PC builds. And you can also feel, if you have any troubleshooting questions, you can feel free to ask as well. Again, I'm hyped about Battlefield 6. That's going to be releasing sometime soon. Not Battlefield 6, but Season 1 of Battlefield 6 will be releasing sometime soon. Hopefully as soon as midnight tonight would be nice. Also, if you guys also have questions about the Xbox Ally X, if that's the main reason why you're here, I do have it here. Let me turn it on, actually. I wonder if it just went to sleep or if I turned it off manually. I probably did. But here it is. The Xbox Ally X right here, and I think it ran out of battery. I must have had it running on something, so I'll just plug that in as well. That's funny. Let me see if my other one's awake. If the standard Ally is awake, the standard Ally is right here. Yep, this one's awake. If you have questions about between both devices, now this one's the one with the Z1 Extreme, and we also have the Z2 Extreme, if you are curious. So AMD really needs to give us some options in the higher end GPUs to compete with NVIDIA. I agree. I feel that there certainly needs to be more options when it comes to AMD. I know AMD said that they stopped having any type of interest when it came to high-end GPUs because they felt like most gamers out there don't want to spend that kind of money on a GPU. So I can see their argument on it. It's sort of true. I know that there aren't as many gamers or too many enthusiasts who are looking forward to spending well over $2,000 on a GPU. But if AMD can find that certain sweet spot, especially if it's going to be cheaper compared to their competitors like the RTX 5090, I think it would draw a lot more attention than they realize. And this is an opportunity for AMD to strike, I have to say. they certainly could take advantage of it. And this is the big advantage when it comes to this monitor, I gotta say, is, let me see. This monitor has USB-C, right? So what you can do, see, I use this, I take for granted this, and I hopefully the newer displays are more like this, where you can easily just plug in your device. For example, I could plug in my Asus ROG Ally Xbox Edition right here, right? And it could charge up, and as soon as I turn it on, USB-C could actually act as DisplayPort 1.4. That's how well these USB-C connection is with this. Now, they don't provide this cable, unfortunately, when it comes to purchasing the Xbox Ally X. But if you do purchase the PG34W CDM or any of their other monitors, such as the PG32 UCDM, you can certainly get the USB-C cable with it. And thanks for Asus that actually provided this cable with this monitor, because most monitors you would actually have to end up buying it on your own anyway, especially when it comes to USB-C. But you could just easily plug in the device and you could switch it over to USB-C and be able to play directly from your Asus ROG Xbox Ally over to your monitor. So not like Nintendo. No, nothing like Nintendo. In fact, if we displayed this device, which I could actually show you guys on how it would look, and let me put this here so you guys can see it. And let's open it up. In fact, we'll open up the Xbox Ally, right? So this is how this beauty looks like when it turns on, right? There you go. Hopefully you guys can see it. I know I got the face tracking on, so it's probably trying to focus more on my face than anything. But you just simply go to the USB-C side, right? And once you go to the USB-C side, now this is a 34-inch wide display, so it's going to have the markers here. You won't notice it because of the OLED display. That's a good thing about OLED displays. It'll just end up cutting it out to where it just looks like that specific resolution to wherever you have it set as. So once this loads up, we'll put it onto the monitor. What's up, Jonah? And Jonah's right between us. Look, I gotta share Jonah with you guys. The start of this screen. He's just kind of... He's right under the tripod. It's pretty funny. I gotta share that with you guys. Let me turn on the Jonah cam so you guys can see him. It is right... He is right there. Hey, where'd the camera go? Oh, there you go. I don't know if you guys can see him. Oh, there it is. Starting up now. Let me see the Jonah cam. Sorry, vertical chat. I'm trying to bring you guys in. Let's see. Video, Jonah cam. There you go. The Jonah cam. No, not that. There you go. The Jonah cam. I know it's kind of dark, but he's right there. Oh, it's like directly on his top of his head, so you're probably seeing his furry head. Let me see. There he goes. That's Jonah, just chilling right under the tripod. Hopefully you guys can see that angle. You gotta set up his own light, but I don't want to blind him while he's trying to just like relax. But anyway, here it is. I think it just wants to charge now. Man, I really drained the battery in this from all debenching. So what are your specs for the streaming PC? So the specs for my streaming PC are quite a bit insane. Now, mind you, this streaming PC is what I also use for everything else when it comes to my workloads, such as for content creation and everything like that. So to give you, just to give you a heads up, but the specs is a Threadripper. It's a Threadripper 3970X. It also has a RTX 3080 Ti, and it does have there's 64 gigabytes of RAM, and it does have about in total about 8 terabytes of SSD, and it also has, what else am I missing? It does have a deep cool cooler in there, a 360 cooler. It uses the ASUS TRX4 e-gaming board, and it's inside of a ASUS TF501 case. So another thing that, again, I added to addition was I got an expansion drive, which is another video I do want to share with you guys, especially for those who are interested in doing things like content creation or streaming, or if you are into 3D design, or if you're a videographer, photographer. If you have a router to where you can plug in a USB, take advantage of it, because for example, I use, just like when I went to Micro Center, I went to get the expansion drive, which is about 24 terabytes, and I plugged that into the to the router, and practically now you have access to like your own cloud. So I highly recommend it for anybody out there that is that's interested in content creation or just needs the extra storage. Regardless of what device you're connected on, you'll be able to access it through your phone or another laptop or another desktop PC. Giveaway dispensive. Yeah, but I mean, the thing is, this streaming PC, it's a bit dated too. The 3970X came out like a while ago. It came out when I built this PC originally. It was early 2020. I got all the parts in 2019 of December, and after 2020, that's when I did the build. I actually did a video on that build. That was like one of the first PC builds that I've done on the channel, and just putting it all together and seeing how quick it aged. Now it's already 5 years later. It's still quite the beast. And it's funny because I was thinking, man, I'm kind of tempted to do like another Threadripper build, but it's just so dang expensive. Like I was looking at some of the processors, which were a bit more affordable compared to what I was looking at Micro Center, which is insane. If you get the Threadripper Pro, like 9775, they're like $10,000. It's insane. But I gotta say, it's definitely it's definitely a beast to take advantage of, and it encodes and multitask like crazy. So if you need any type of like true multitasking type of build, you could go Threadripper. But honestly, you could go to a much cheaper route. You can obviously go for like something like a 9950 X3D would be the better choice for many people out there, because then you can do the gaming and the work task as well. But yeah, that's something I would say. Hopefully this is charging up here. That's so funny. I can't believe I killed it like that. I had no idea that that battery is that low. What's up, Jonah? Now he's just exploring. But I guess I'll let this charge up a little bit. But then I can show you guys. You know what I should really do is download OBS into the into the Ally Xbox, so that way you guys could actually see it firsthand. It'd be a lot better that way too. So, but the interesting thing is, I think there's going to be quite a bit of stuff, exciting things that are coming our way. I want a Threadripper so bad, but I don't want to spend 20. I don't blame you. It's expensive. Actually, I'll show you. This is what was a bit tempting, and I'll show everybody here, because it honestly wasn't that bad. Like when I put it together, it's still insane, right? It's still highly expensive to do it, and I quite wouldn't go the Threadripper Pro, because it's just, again, way too expensive. But I was looking at the 90s, what was it? The 9970X. B&H Photo had it, right? And take a look. $3,000, right? I mean, $2,500. That's a bit more reasonable compared to 10K. But if I ever decide to go ahead and do this, do the Threadripper build, then I would go ahead and I would recommend, I will let you guys know. Oh, looks like he needs his donut. But if I go ahead and do this build, I will let you know, and just let me know what you would like to see in it, out of curiosity. But 2500 is a bit more, way more affordable compared to the Pro model, and I'll show you guys with the Pro model because you would feel it's a bit insane. Pro model is right here. Threadripper Pro, Micro Center. Threadripper Pro, here it is. Oh no, this is the 9965WX. Time to start. I know. That would be insane. See, it's Shimada's Peak. Quite insane. Look at that. Isn't that insane? $8,000 for something like this. The TRX 50. And it has the WRX 90. But again, this is like way over spec. Way over spec. Unless you're doing something really insane, like you're doing like 16K or 8K. Look, it can support up to 2 terabytes of DDR5. That's just insane. But even the build kits, look at this one. 7960X, they got a build kit for this. 7960X Gigabyte TRX 50. Comes with the processor, comes with the motherboard, comes with the RAM. And they make it really sound like a good deal. Let's see if they got a 90. Here it is, 9970X. You can get it for $3,300. It comes with the 32-core workstation processor, and it has DDR5. It doesn't up to 32. That can't be right. How much megabytes does it come? I think that's where is it? They don't tell you. It just says DDR5 5600. But how much RAM do they give you? Oh, there it is, down here. Cast latency at 28. Timings are 28, 34, 34. So good timing. And the processor is great. Maybe I gotta click on the individual RAM and then I'll see it. I think it's down here too. I'll be down here. It's 128 gigabytes. So they give you 128 gigabytes of RAM with it. And they also give you the ASUS TRX 50 Sage Pro Workstation Wi-Fi A. And they give you this wonderful processor, this Threadripper. But originally, it's funny too, because I was trying to search for parts earlier. And originally I was thinking of upgrading the GPU on this Threadripper build and going away from the 3080 Ti, because the 3080 Ti is a bit dated now. And thinking going 5080, like RTX 5080 on the build. And funny enough, was those who were there on the members live certainly saw it, which was that they actually had the Duhab Edition 5080. I wonder if they're going to show it on the website. They probably will if I go to the store here. Let me see. ASUS has it. It's by ASUS. Right here. So you're spending some extra money on something like this, which is pretty crazy, right? This is $1,900 for this GPU. Crazy. $1,900. And that's like close to pretty much like a price of a RTX 5090. You might as well just go all out and get a 5090 at that point. But 5080s, they got really excellent deals on them. But the funny thing is, you know, the GPUs were on sale though. But it seems like the price has gone up a little bit. It's crazy because I remember specifically the ASUS TUF RTX 5080. Even the ASUS Prime, that's actually a little bit more expensive. Because actually, yeah, the pricing actually went up. And I think this has to do with the memory increase. Unfortunately, these have G7 built into it. So Oh, that's just ridiculous. So it's just gotten more expensive to build a PC once again. So the pricing's gone up in GPUs, it looks like, as well. That sucks. Look at this. Yeah, they pushed up the pricing again. 14. But that's just because I'm picking out ASUS, maybe. Let's go off of ASUS. Yeah, spray paint. Yeah, it definitely is. It definitely is LSG. Here we go. This is more fair. This is more of a fair price. $979 for this GPU. 16 gigabytes GDDR7 PCI Express 5. So this isn't a bad deal. Let's see here. Oh, I know what. You know what? I think I know what happened. So I'm going to switch over here. I think it charged up. It's just that it's on the USB-C display now. Exactly. Yeah, stay away from P and Y, guys. You don't want to, there it is. You don't want to go P and Y with them. Let me unplug this now. There we go. Okay, unlocked. Now let me plug it into here. There we go. Oh, no. Yeah, so if anyone's thinking of getting an RTX 50 series, stay away from PMY. There we go. So now we have the view of the Xbox Ally. So it looks something like this if you go into the monitor side. Pretty nice, right? It doesn't look too bad. So let me show you in just chatting. So this is how it looks inside of the Xbox app, so to say. Because really, originally we thought that they were going to have a custom OS when it came to the Xbox Ally, but that wasn't the case. In fact, that everything is pretty much still the same. USB device is not recognized. That's funny. So we're going to exit out of here, and then we're going to go to the actual Windows. No, we don't want to go there. And say if you want to go into play Steam, you easily can. You just go up here, go into Steam. It might be a little bit tough to see, I know, guys. There we go. Now it's going to connect over to Steam, and then you can see how the frames are. I'll readjust the camera and everything, and I'll go into something like Battlefield 6 for you guys to see how well it plays on the monitor. But it's pretty wild to see it like this, right? But I would highly suggest if you do hook it up to a monitor, you're probably going to want a dock. Like you want to have a mouse and a keyboard. Let me see. Because the funny thing is, even though you'll have everything set to controller, you'll still need it for certain aspects. Okay. Let's see. Go back into Steam here. So, for example, you have to hold menu and 2 buttons to really have the overlay come on. So you would have to do something like that for it to work. There we go. Now, it's a lot easier to have the mouse hooked up to this, I tell you. Because, like, it's still going to act like a PC, and that's the thing. I was hoping it would be, like, a lot more fluid if it would come into the Xbox Ally X when it comes to hooking it up to the monitor. Because you're still going to need, like a mouse, I would suggest. Because it still acts like Windows, practically. But, let me go back here. So, it's great to have... if you travel a lot, but when it's been... Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, so if anybody is thinking about getting, like, an Xbox Ally, so to say, I would say I highly suggest it more for people who are constantly on the go. It's a good device if you are more of a person who honestly travels a lot more than being at home. Because it really is like a gaming PC. You can have like you can actually have a keyboard. You can actually have like you can have a mouse with it, and you can just throw it into your bag and take it on the go no matter where you are. Again, it's a great experience if you're able to go into flights and then you run into and then you could just relax and just be able to play your games compared to trying to bring something as hefty as a laptop. So it's good in that sense. For Xbox owners out there who are curious about the Xbox Ally, it's still more of a PC more than an Xbox. So don't expect any of your games to play natively into the device, but you can use Game Pass to be able to play with the device. But if you are mostly home, you find yourself wanting to play it more at home, then it's much better to honestly just put the funds towards more of a PC than anything. But I would certainly say that out of that aspect, I would say definitely invest more of a PC because then you can enjoy like full 4K gaming. And I'm telling you, you could easily, well, you could have built a PC for a much cheaper rate, especially because I see GPU pricing has went up a little bit, but it seems that some GPUs you can get for a better deal currently. I would try to purchase a GPU while you can. Same thing with the RAM. If you need to expand your RAM or you need to upgrade your GPU, I would highly recommend to do so before the prices go up even more. And it's expected that these prices will continue to go up for several years, unfortunately. And that's all thanks to the needs from the AI centers. But yeah, definitely invest in a PC if you can. Definitely more of the way to go when it comes to the gaming side. So here is some also other news that I do want to bring up here, and this has been happening a lot recently, and it's specifically on MSI side, and I'll just show you guys what I mean. And that's going to be this. This is like a big case that people have been talking about, which is the whole burning when it comes to the 12-volt high power ports. You can clearly see that the wire has melted right here on the end. And now this is on videocards.com that this was reposted. Obviously, this was taken from Reddit. And this actually happened on a Sapphire Nitro Plus RX 9070 XT. And yeah, see, once again, Reddit. That's where you usually find this stuff. Now, it's happened to 4 RTX 5090 owners recently with the burn power connectors across Reddit. 1 PNY, again, that's why we mentioned don't get PNY. It caused the black screens crashing before resetting the card and finding that this 12-pin plug charred along one of the rows of the pin. And it's always the top that's always having the issue. Now, one of the biggest issues that a lot of people have when it comes to plugging in these 12-volt high power ports is that many people will actually not sit it correctly, and that's a common issue. When you are installing the 12-volt high power port, you have to make sure it's sitting completely flush into the card. Otherwise, you're going to have some sort of resistance, which causes this heat issue, because it's going to try all its power to make that connection, and because there's no connection there, it's going to burn it up. So again, everybody who has a 12-volt high power port, be certain that it's fully seated, because otherwise you're gonna run into issues like this. And he didn't realize it, unfortunately, because he said this one's from an MSI RTX 5090 where he got the random freezing and the random flickering and all the different issues that were going on. He thought it was a driver issue, but lo and behold, he ran into the same exact issue of these burned pins. So try to be mindful when installing the 12-volt high power port. There's been times where I've seen questions about why PCs weren't starting, and a lot of the cases, believe it or not, or some of the cases that I've seen was because this 12-volt high power port wasn't plugged in properly. So just make sure that it's fully seated. Make sure if you have specifically MSI, make sure none of the yellow is sticking out, it should be completely flush to where you don't see any coloring. Now, if you have any other type of 12 volt high power ports, I know some other manufacturers will have different colors. Some will have blue. Some will just be standard black, depending on the power supply. And you just want to make sure that the connection is butted up. It'll be like a lip around the connector, and you just want to make sure it's like lip to lip, so that way it doesn't end up burning up your adapter or burning your card or doing or have any other serious issues with your PC. Yeah, exactly. And some come with colors, and that's the thing. A lot of them, like I know Sapphire actually has a color on theirs. This one doesn't. But if you look at Sapphire's Nitro Plus, I think theirs is blue. In fact, I think I actually have it in my desk. In fact, instead, let me just show it to you in person, because I actually have it in my desk here. Let me see, where is it? Oh, here it is. It's gonna look something like this. 12 volt high power port. Here goes Sapphire's right here. So as you can see, Sapphire's is, let me try to focus it on the camera. It keeps trying to face track me. Give me a second so I can get it to track this. There you go. And it should focus. There you go. Beautiful. So it looks something like this. And that's the connector right there. So again, just make sure it's fully seated. Now, I wish I had the opposite end so I could show you guys how it should look. If I had an example, I could plug it in. But again, you want to make sure that you don't see any of that blue sticking out there. You just want to make sure it's all the way in. If you see any blue, even a little, even just like 5%, just make sure it's 0. That's what it has to be, 0. So I agree, it's mainly human error that's causing the malfunction, but I think not plugging it all the way shouldn't cause all that damage. I agree. It technically shouldn't. Luckily, again, the same message. Like I said, the same person that I saw that ran into this problem before, I assumed it was a RAM issue because his PC didn't start up at all. So he said that everything was installed properly from what he said, and that when he went to go start up his PC, that it just wouldn't boot. It would constantly get the code where it was a memory error. So obviously thinking it could be the BIOS, maybe that the BIOS is out of date, has to update the BIOS. He successfully did a BIOS flashback, worked great. He checked that the memory is also compatible with his motherboard. And then he was actually looking at his PC, and he finally asked, "Is this correct?" He shows me the power connector, and it looks like it wasn't seated all the way. In fact, some of the yellow was sticking out. He obviously had an MSI power supply, and I said, no, you have to really make sure it sits in completely. And after that was done, PC started up perfectly fine and worked great. So again, it can happen to the best of us. It can happen to anyone. Just make sure to plug in the adapter all the way. So, but yeah, if anybody runs into these 12 volt high power ports and is doing their first build, don't be petrified. Don't be scared. It's honestly not that bad. If anyone's just joining in, just make sure you stay tuned. Make sure to subscribe and follow the channel, or follow the channel on Twitch. I would really appreciate it, as we're going to speak more. Usually I go live Wednesdays and Saturdays. Monday is just an extra stream. I just want to speak to you guys about a lot of different subjects. I wanted to talk about the Xbox Ally X and the original Xbox. I mean, not original Xbox, the original Ally, to see if it's really worth the upgrade. Also, we were talking about PC builds. You could also ask questions, and we're talking about currently about the 12 volt high power port when it comes to the 50 series, or when it comes to the RX 9070s XT. Also, we have a Discord. You can feel free to reach out. Feel free to join. It's down in the description box down below. If you're on another channel, make sure to check out the website. It'll be chrismizo.com, just exactly how it sounds. and how my name is spelled, you go to that website, just click the Discord link, and you can feel free to ask questions, post pictures, and feel free to show benchmarks. And again, it's a welcoming community, so feel free to join and don't hesitate. But yeah, just don't get heart attack up for the first boost. Honestly, when it comes to building a PC first, at first everybody gets nervous, and that's normal. And I bet for the modern fear, it's going to be installing the CPU is number one fear, I gotta say. And then the number two fear is plugging in the GPU correctly would be number two. Because obviously, like when it comes to building PCs, everything else is honestly not as bad. The PC runs nonstop until he starts using Prime Video. It crashes every time. Really? Really? Here I have a PC I'm working on for a friend. The PC runs nonstop until he starts, and that's interesting. I bet that has an issue. If it does it, so for this PC, is it able to run gaming wise? Like, are you able to game on it? I'm assuming he games on his PC. Also, I have to ask, because Prime Video isn't going to be that resourceful when it comes to like the video card side. I would say it's more or so. You have to see exactly what resources Amazon Prime is taking up. I can't say for certain, but I would check, open up Amazon Prime, and see if you can check the task manager almost, or check HW Info 64, open those up, and see exactly where the resources are getting pulled. If nothing's really getting pulled, it could even be the application. It could be the software where it's given the issue. It could be that. That's a really weird issue, I have to say. But that's funny. Out of everything, Prime is the one at crashing the PC. That's hilarious. I guess they don't want them to use Prime on that PC. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the stream. Hopefully you join in for the next time, guys. For now, there's more alternative for OS like Linux. Absolutely. There is other alternatives for it. The Asus X670E, 9600X, 9070X XT, 6000 megahertz, CL30. Yeah, so if everything works fine on it, I would suggest you have to see what the real root cause of it is. Check the resources of it. See what is pulling. If it's specifically Amazon Prime, it's something that it's doing. If it's working fine elsewhere, like I would assume like Netflix, or if they have any other type of streaming service, HBO Go or anything like that, try those out and see if it works okay. If it does the same thing in the other applications, then you'll start diagnosing hardware. But more than likely, I'm not thinking it's hardware. It's got to be software related from what it seems like. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the stream. Make sure, again, join the Discord down below in the description box. I'll be live once again on Wednesday. If I'm feeling peachy tomorrow, I can definitely see you guys on then. And I appreciate everybody for coming on. Make sure to join the wonderful members roundtable, LSG. Shout out to LSG. Shout out Wasabi. Shout out to everybody out there. Takuma. Thanks to Ernesto. Thanks to everybody that's part of our roundtable to make this possible. And hopefully I see you guys soon. And make sure, again, to join the Discord. I want everybody to join this Discord because I want to hear your adventures, your issues, and also if you're building a PC, you can feel free to ask questions there. And don't forget to like or subscribe and follow the channel. Thank you guys, and much love to the Fan Bam and the Members Roundtable. Thanks so much for watching.